The Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education has organized a conference in Abuja to discuss the challenges and solutions to the injustice suffered by the original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory. The executive director of the organization, Dr. Ibrahim Zikirulai, in his welcome address, condemned the continuous neglect of the original inhabitants by the federal government. Our correspondent, Edidion Akpanuku, reports.
The conference, which marked the end of the three-day event to celebrate the International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples, brought together experts from across Africa to discuss and profile solutions to the struggle for social justice by indigenous peoples. Participants at the event say the discussions are timely and hope that the authorities will address some of their demands. The Deputy Director, MacArthur Foundation Nigeria Office, Mr. Dayo Olaide, tasked Nigerians to hold the state and federal government accountable for the utilization of resources available to them. He says most local government areas across the country have been starved for resources by the state governors.
If we say that the federal government alone has budgeted over 100 trillion in the last 23 years, I think there are legitimate questions that we can ask. Legitimate questions such as, for example, why do we still have 18 million out-of-school students? The state of infrastructures, the rate of unemployment in the country, the number of people women that still die during childbirth. For me, these are important pointers to the challenges facing us in spite of all that we have invested or appropriated over the last 22 years. And in the same way, we can also look at the responsibilities of the states and the local government and ask fundamental questions. Fundamental questions such as, how has local government revenue been managed? Today, we are all aware of the fact that a lot of state governors basically just corner the money that is meant for local government. And the struggle for local government autonomy has made political resistance. So in terms of what we have invested into the system and the direct impact on the Nigerian citizens is very slim to point out. It's difficult to be able to see. And therefore, by extension, the social injustices that we are seeing is a direct consequence of is a direct result, of the social malaise that is ailing us as a people. Whether you look at conflict in the northeast, conflict in the northwest, conflict across the country, until and unless we begin to make democracy work for Nigerian people, I think we are going to keep struggling.
A traditional ruler of the Esu of the Kwali Area Council of the FCT, His Royal Highness Dr. Shaban Audu Nizazo III, revealed that the people of the FCT have continued to face injustice as they have not been given the same rights other Nigerians have, chiefly the right to vote a leader of their territory into office. He says there is need for the indigenous people to receive compensation for their lands that have been claimed by the federal government.
We have about 9 different ethnic groups here in the FCT, and we thought as a people that we have been marginalized to a certain extent. Marginalized in the sense that there are certain rights that are due to us who have not been given. We mention particularly politically when others are electing their governors, we are not doing anything, and we are just there. And therefore, it looks as if we are not full Nigerians. If other Nigerians are electing their governors and their House of Representatives members, we are not doing anything. Therefore, if we continue in this direction, it therefore means that the FCT indigenous are not Nigerians. And therefore, we are making an appeal to whichever authorities that may be, that we should be given the opportunity to also elect our governor, no matter who is called, whether the mayor or whatever it is, the opportunity to also participate in election at the second tier is very important. Again, we have realized also that people think, go by saying that adequate compensation has been given to us, the indigents. No, that is not true. We need to look into the compensation issue of the indigenous people in the FCT and see if it is true that this compensation has been adequately be provided. And therefore, it is important that there must be a true, peace for this FCT for any development to take place.
Also speaking at the event, a lecturer from the University of Free State, South Africa, Dr. Quinta Onyango, called on the civil society organizations in Africa to act as watchdogs to check the excesses of government and to continue in their fight to protect the rights of citizens.
I think the key role would be to be a watchdog in a way, more of check and balance, because if we don't have advocacy in a country, it's very difficult or very easy for human rights to be violated and for mostly the citizens to have a voice behind them and also to be advocated for them in terms of the rights and also different spheres, health sector, education, investment, culture, and the value in terms of participating in diversity and democracy.
Edidion Apanoko, reporting for Development Nigerian Television.